All right. It's 10 a.m. Central Time, and whatever time it is there, it's ready. We're ready to go. And thank you for all the early birds today for getting on. And today's topic, and we're going to cover efficient, empowered, engaged, leveraging Reltio UI for data steward success. Karina's done this before in the past, this session, and lots of interest there. So we thought we'd bring it back since there are some changes and some things coming up in the future. So I'm really excited about this one. So Carina Alabanza, she's a senior manager here, UX here at Reltio. Did I say it wrong?
No, it's good. It's good. It's perfect.
Okay, good. You're laughing, so I was like, uh-oh. So the rules of this show is keep yourself on mute. All questions, please ask them in chat and I'll get to them. The way I'll do it today is we'll get through the presentation and things, and then I'll ask the questions. So Karina, don't worry about that. Again, it's being recorded and I will post it to the community, but I'll also send out an email hopefully by tomorrow to everyone that RSVP'd and is here today. So upcoming, we have a couple of things. One is today's show on the 2nd, and I'm just going to say them all right here. The 2nd and the 16th is our Reltio Learn team, and that's a deep dive into the configuration. You have to have some prior courses to take before you take that one, but we like to post those on the community just so you know what's coming up. We do have on the 9th a call or show on enhancing and expanding with Reltio's professional guidance, professional services. They have some new stuff that they want to roll out and show you guys. And then on the 19th, it's a little different. It's advancing patient health, the role of holistic patient data management and consent. We're having Deloitte present on that. Pretty excited there. And then on the 30th, it's going to be a little bit different. It's achieving real-time data quality with custom Reltio UI. We have another partner and that's going to come in and show how they've worked with some of our other customers on the UI. So really exciting stuff there. And then we will have other shows coming up on some new stuff that we've got coming, but I have not scheduled those yet. So lastly, if you are in life sciences and in New Jersey on May 9th, we do have a life sciences event, and I'll push this out to the chat for the link if you want to sign up. It's going to be half day. We'll have a couple of customers speaking about their MDM journey. It's really more of a networking event. We'll also have our CEO, Manish Sood, speaking and giving the first just speech or whatever. And then we'll have a roadmap session with our PM team. All right. I'm going to stop sharing and get us started into the meat of this.
All right.
Karina.
Thanks, Chris. Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Carina Alabanza. Pleasure to be here. Always excited to be part of these webinars. I get to interact with our customers and partners. So thanks for having me and for joining me in the next hour as I delve into the world of data stewards. So I'm going to share my screen. Do you guys see my screen?
We can.
Right.
Wow. Only 2 slides.
Most of it is demo.
Perfect. We love
Yeah.
demo.
All right. So data stewards, they're extremely critical in the success of your organization's data management. They are responsible for curating the data, investigating data, resolving duplicates, and so forth. They are at the forefront of your company's data, right? With the ultimate goal of ensuring the highest data quality. With that, Reltio equips them with the necessary tools and capabilities and more accurately. And that's exactly what I'll be discussing in today's session, right? Features and services that will empower your data stewards. So in this session, I will be covering 3 main topics. The first one is all about search, how data stewards can conduct efficient data discovery. We'll look into the powerful search capabilities that is currently at your fingertips using the Search UI. And then we'll unveil an exciting leap forward where you get to use RIA the Reltio Intelligent Assistant that will help you find data even faster. And next, I will be walking you through how to resolve potential matches at scale. So we've been innovating tirelessly to streamline this bulk match resolution process, and I'm really eager to give you that sneak peek of our latest advancements. And then finally, I will discuss profile creation. So we recently released a wizard-like approach to creating profile where attributes are chunked into steps or pages instead of one big form. So we'll go over that as well. And some of the features that I'll be showing you today, right? Some of them are not yet available in the platform. So super excited that you guys get to have the first sneak peek into what we're busy cooking up in the labs. And for those features, and really any other features that I show you today, I welcome all feedback. So our users are at the center of our design process, and we always look forward to your input. So let's blast that chat box with comments, questions, and your feedback.
Don't worry, they will. Trust me.
All right, this is the search page. Most of you guys are familiar with this, right? Here is our our quick filters. Um, it includes attributes that you would frequently filter on. I click on contacts. I will then get that set of attributes that are relevant to this entity type, and also attributes that, again, I will most likely search on. So for this example, I clicked on contacts, and I would usually filter on locations such as location attributes such as address, city, state, zip. And so the UI is catered in such a way that it will present me with those attributes that are most important to me per entity type. Again, making it a lot faster for me to search. Under the covers, right, the system remembers my preferences from historical searches. So in addition to also these attributes can be configured. For example, if I want to add another attribute here and I would click on maybe match rules, it would add it here on the left panel. The next time I log back in, it will still remember that this attribute and this attribute will persist in this left panel. So again, it saves me time from having to time and again add attributes that I want to filter on. So we also have advanced search, right? So we understand that there will be some searches that need more advanced rules to get the most accurate set of data. So the advanced search provides data stewards with that flexibility to build complex search queries where they can apply different operators, conditions, as well as create groups, right, by adding sets. So let's take an example. I want to search for all contacts who reside in New York with an invalid phone number, right? With the goal of me wanting to resolve these profiles. So in this case, what I would do is I would search for the attribute state or address state. All right, equals New York. And then validation status, which is for phone number, equals invalid. This then will show me, okay, I have 23.4 contacts that have invalid phone numbers that live in New York. So this is great, right? It's flexible. I'm able to create the search query. And like I said, everything I mentioned so far, it's available in our search. And being that we really want to further push the envelope and came up with an even faster and more flexible way to search for data. So as great as our quick filters are in our advanced search, wouldn't it be great if I can just type up what data I want without having to do these complex search queries? So now you can. So this is RIA. Meet RIA. RIA is powered by generative AI, and it harnesses natural language prompts, making your data searches even faster than before. So by using RIA, right, you can search for any data just using natural language. It will then give you the results and also build the search query for you automatically. So again, let's use the same example. I'm going to clear out of this. And now let's ask Korea, right? So find me all contacts who live in the state with an invalid phone validation status. And here it is, right? So without having to build these advanced search queries using advanced search, I can just type in my search prompts here in RIA. It will then give me the list of profiles. I can say, okay, let's view this in the search page, and notice that it will automatically also build that query in this advanced search so that I can validate whether or not, this truly is the right set of data that I want to search on. So this makes data discovery so much faster. I can focus more of my time on my data investigations, let RIA do the heavy lifting for me. So we're really excited about this feature. Can't wait for you guys to try it. This RIA profile search will launch on April 2nd as part of the Customer 360 data product. Okay. All
Great.
right. So, yep,
Yeah, great. So there's no option in advanced search to search based on relationship. Is that right?
that is correct.
Okay. Yeah. For now, that's and somebody else has been trying. We've been asking that for years. Anyways, keep going.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to potential matches. Right. So currently, when data stewards review potential matches, they would go to each profile individually, one by one, review those potential matches for that profile, move on to the next one, and so forth. So this is great for individual entity resolution that require more in-depth reviews. But what if I want to be able to do entity resolution in bulk, right? So in the past few months, we've been researching, designing ways to make entity resolution faster and more accurate with features that will then help data stewards make more informed decisions. So what you're seeing here, notice it's still in design phase, right? The paint is still wet on this idea, but we want to take this opportunity to show you what we've been working on to get your feedback and thoughts. So what you're seeing here is this is Hub, and this is the potential matches page that lists all the potential matches for that selected entity type. And similar to search, it will have the power of our search capabilities, right? Where I can go ahead and filter on any attribute, slice and dice that data. And also similar to our current potential matches page in the UI, it will then list the potential matches grouped together. So all of these potential matches or all of these profiles match with Robert Smith, all of these profiles plus 20 match with Michael Dean, and so forth. But what I wanted to bring your attention on are these two columns right here, right? Match reasons and percentage pairs merged. The match reasons are basically explanations or reasons of why this profile merged with this lead profile. And this bullseye icon, it indicates an exact match. And this squiggly line icon indicates fuzzy match. So in this first example that you see here, Roberto Smith matched with Robert Smith. And the reason is for that is because it has exact last name, city, SSN, DOB, and gender, not first name. So this is a design thing. But essentially, it will have that squiggly line on first name and exact match on the rest of the attributes, right? And this will give users a better understanding of the match pairs. Also, here on the next column to the right, we have a percentage indicator of how often profiles were merged together based on the match reason. So again, taking this first example, 98% of the time when matched pairs have this match reason, exact first name, last name, city, and so forth. Members of my team, myself including, have merged profiles together. So this will give me insights on what actions were taken historically, right, to help me make more of informed decisions. I can then use that as well, filter on this on only pairs that were merged at maybe 99% or above, because I trust that these pairs should be merged, select them all, and merge them all. Okay. And I wanted to also show you this table. So we wanted to go even further from that, right? And show you more of a report or some sort of analysis that will give you the breakdown of the number of potential matches based on those match reasons. So what in this table are the columns here are the attributes that are included in my match strategy. These are basically the match strategy, including the rules and also the models that are included, the relevant score, percentage of merged pairs, and also the number of potential matches found that match this match strategy. The top part of this table, as you see, it shows you potential matches with a higher percentage of merged pairs and a high relevance score. And then at the bottom, the other side of the spectrum, it shows you more of that low percentage of merged pairs and low relevance scores. And so from this as a data steward manager, knowing that, hey, this top of part of the table, these potential matches should most likely be merged. These potential matches down here should most likely be marked as not a match. So I can quickly review these and I can go ahead and merge all. And then I can go down here and say, okay, these should not be merged at all. So I can mark them as not a match, which then leaves me with this middle section here, where this middle section really is the one that requires more of that individual, more in-depth reviews. So instead of having to review 30,000, right, potential matches, I can then better utilize my data steward's time to focus more on that 5,000 matches that needs most attention, human intervention. So again, this is something that we're still cooking up in the labs. We're ideating on this, we're innovating on this, and this is the thought process and direction that we have. Would love your thoughts on this.
So a couple, I'm not going to get to all the questions, but some quick questions that are pertaining to this view. How
Mm.
did you get that view? Is that you said this one's still being cooked up and
Yeah,
no one has
this is
access? Okay.
yeah. This is all designed, so it's in my Figma file, and it's something that we're still ideating on. It's not yet being developed. It's something that we are socializing with our customers in hopes to get feedback to make, and then the next step will be development.
Okay. There's some feedback in there and I'll read that here later, but if you want to keep going, that would be good.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. All right. My last topic is profile creation. So I'm going to exit out of this. Clear search. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through a new way of creating profiles through what we're calling profile authoring. So if you remember, in our current experience, if I create a new profile, let's say location, when someone creates a new profile in the UI, they're presented with this one long form with all of the available attributes, right? So we understand that this may get overwhelming for our data stewards. So we designed a new way to create profiles that chunks attributes into multiple steps or pages. And that we're calling profile authoring. Right? So profile authoring, so let me create contact, which I have configured here. So profile authoring will help those data stewards reduce cognitive load, right? By making the form appear less daunting. It increases focus and attention where they can concentrate on one subset of attributes at a time. It also enhances that progress visibility. I know how far I've come, how much more do I need to go. how much more is left. Also, it improves error and validation handling, right? So in that long form, I would it wouldn't give me the validation errors until I hit save, and it may be at the very top, right, of that long form. But here it actually informs me in smaller chunks. So as I continue on to the next page, it will then help me with validate each of these attributes one page at a time. This profile authoring, you can configure this in UI Modeler. This is currently available. And in UI Modeler, you can select. So actually, let me show you. Let me exit out of this and let me show you how to do that. To contacts. So for authoring, for in UI Modeler, there's going to be this tab, new tab called authoring. For location, remember before it wasn't enabled, it was that one long form. So this is how it's going to look like by default, right? If you have authoring not enabled. So you can go ahead and enable it. And once it's enabled, then you are able to add steps and then configure those steps. Select the type of facets that you want to add in each step, and then select the attributes that you want to display in these facets. So for contact, for profile detail, these are the attributes that will then be presented to the data steward on the first page. And then more information. I can then configure this. I can add more steps, and then I can go ahead and publish. And the end result of that is this. So you have these 3 different steps that I've just configured with the list of attributes that I have selected for it. Okay. And so let's go ahead and create one profile. So let's do this. And I want to bring your attention to this right panel right here. This is our search before create feature. So as I type values in each of these attributes, it will then search, the system will search and match for existing records that have the same exact value for that attribute. So this will then help me identify if there are any existing records in the system that, and then it will prevent me from having to create those duplicate records. I can click on this. It will open it up into that profile page, will then show me, I can then verify and validate whether or not this is in fact the same profile that I want to create. And I can either cancel out of this or say, okay, maybe this is not, there's another one, a different address, maybe a different middle name, and I can continue on with this. So again, this is a great feature that is currently only available in profile authoring, but it allows the data stewards to verify whether or not a duplicate exists before they go ahead and create a new. For profile authoring, and this is something also that we're working on, is dynamic attributes. It's currently not available yet, but somewhere where for data stewards, for example, they an entity type may have a laundry list of attributes, right? 200 plus. However, some of those attributes may only pertain or relevant based on the value of another attribute. So dynamic attribution is something that also we're working on, which will also be available in our target is in the next release, but as part of the profile creation journey. All right. So those are the 3 topics that I wanted to cover. I see a lot of chats.
Yeah, great. You asked for it and you got it. So
Love
let's
it.
go into the first question. Can RIA interact with crosswalk IDs that you provide to it?
What do you mean by that? Like search, like data.
Ilya, Sipilia. Take yourself off mute. All right. We'll wait if we can get more clarity on that. And Ujwala says, are we able to check all the potential matches for some entities in a file?
Are we able to check all the potential matches for some entities in the file?
In a
Yes,
file. Yeah.
in a file. Oh, I see. So, for example, in this one where I want to, so we have that now actually in external match. Is that what you mean? So, in external match, you can actually bring an external file. You can then run those data sets in that file against the data in the tenant. It will then check whether or not there are matches between your external file and data in the tenant.
Oh, gotcha. That's cool. And do you know if we can export these potential matches? I know you can do one via the Rocks utility, but I figured if you can do it through the UI, it's easier. Like this new UI.
Yeah, not yet, but that's something, yes, that's something that we're looking into for sure when we create this entire journey of potential matches is something the ability to export this out, but currently not yet. Not in the
Oh,
UI.
gotcha. Gotcha. That and match review. Sometimes we put like little notes in like the match review. This is the reason why like the business needs to take a look at this or something like that. That would also be a part of the export if you guys were to do that. I'm assuming.
Hey,
Sometimes in the match rules, you can like in the potential matches found, you can put like a little comments in there
Yes,
and say, yeah, if you guys were to do an export, that would also be a part of it. I'm assuming.
that is a good idea. Let me actually note that down. Yeah. So any kind of comments pertaining to why they matched and why you matched them, reasons. Use
Exactly. Yeah, that would be really useful. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep. No problem.
thanks for answering that. And the feedback for this particular view is this is awesome. Excel like view and the volume of profile matches is high and UI would be very helpful. Is there any possibility that crosswalks can be viewed with a single click to open a new window of crosswalk detail as part of the group? This would also be helpful.
Yeah, so the crosswalk detail of a specific profile, I click on it and then you can then view like the sources page, right? The is what I'm assuming. Yeah. And again, this will all be in hubs, so they're all connected. If I were to click on each of these profile and that's our intention, it should then give you more detailed information, view more of that information. You can go to the source walks, look at the crosswalks for that profile as well.
Okay. And I assume that this is so Nitin says match insights, when will it get released? That this
This
is
one?
this part. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah, we don't know.
That one we don't know. So this is again, it's something that we're extremely passionate about is this match insights or this match journey and also the match tuning, right? So we're really looking into ways of not only helping the data stewards with their potential match review, but also the configurators when they tune match rules. This is something that we feel could benefit both. From a match tuning perspective, it will then give them an insight into what attributes or what kind of reasons per attribute are we getting the most number of potential matches. Did we get this right? If this is at 99% or even 100%, should we then just make this an automatic match rule instead of it being a suspect match rule? So those are some of the things that we're still thinking of to help with that match strategy for the organization. So this is something that we don't have a target date yet. Again, looking for any feedback. And I can also dive deeper into this next time or with one-on-ones with you guys to get more of that feedback for this.
Yeah, and maybe we should figure out a way to push that, how they get access to you and or how we want to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so we should have an option to review also a not a match, since there are cases where the system thinks it's not a match, but they are matches. So that's just a thought, I think. So
Yeah. So when the system marks them, can you clarify more on that? Is it when if the system marks them as a potential match, but they're not a match?
Piyush, you want to speak up? Yeah. No?
Yeah. I had a similar question on this thing. Maybe Tarzan, if he's not there, for any of these things, it'd be good if you could review them, even if it says merge role instead of that, just to take a look and be able to as a subset, say you get these, exclude those. And that would really, I think, facilitate the efficiency improvement.
Absolutely. We agree. And this will be a link, right? So before I act on merging, because it's a risky behavior, we understand that merging all 4,000 matches, you click on this, you then see this view with that list of all of those 4,000 potential matches, right? That meet that criteria of match reasons. I can quickly review it. I can validate, okay, I think this is good. I can search, further slice this data to make sure that I'm really merging those that are true matches. And then from here, I can go ahead and merge it. But yeah, that's a good point.
So you're saying if you do a search on top of that, that would actually that would reduce the set.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It,
great. Okay.
it would, yeah. So it would bring you to this page where you can then search on it, further reduce it. Maybe I don't want to include a certain parameter.
Right.
Um, and then I would see it here and I can go ahead and just merge these all.
So somebody did ask, can we have access to this? Unfortunately, you cannot, it's not available. But
I know, I
uh,
feel like I,
yeah,
but
just
yeah.
to be clear, and just from my understanding, maybe the group, is it something that you're looking to not just get feedback on, but are you trying to push this out to the PM so that they build it? Or what's the thought there?
No, both the PMs, the team and I, we work very closely on this and we all agree that this is something that could add a lot of value to the match strategy and just really expediting the whole match resolution process. And we want to make sure that we truly better understand any kind of issues or gaps in the experience, that we really think through that before we finalize on the designs and concepts and get it out for development. So
Okay.
even if the paint is still wet, it's close to final, right? Now is that validation phase where we're socializing this with our customers and some of our end users, understanding whether or not this would be something that would add value to their process, with the goal of really increasing that productivity, eliminating or decreasing the number of potential matches in their tenant. And so, yeah.
Great. And you might, I see the reason you're hitting. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, my audio was not working earlier. So the point on the not a match review part, so it was like you are showing here that the system thinks that it is not a match based on the match rules that we might have created. But there are some cases whenever like I am also data steward and we process the records on daily basis. So if you by default say that this is not a match, and then you click on not a match, so it will all the records will go into not a match bucket. But rather than giving not a match and then an option of review that will, for example, if you click on review, that will still go under the review part. And there will be cases wherein under those review, the data stewards might merge them. That's the point where, rather than defaulting it to not a match, we can have an option like not a match or review.
Got it. Okay. So let me see if I understand it. So for these ones, you want to avoid the data stewards from having to review this and then marking it as or merging. So
No, I want to give the data stewards the ability to click on not a match or do a review for them
got it.
rather than by defaulting not a match.
Got it. Yeah. Instead of just having one action of not a match, also review it. And they can, right? So these are just like recommendation actions. So for these, they can actually click on these, right? Go to here and they could still review these either by bulk at scale right here, or they can go one by one, just like how we have it in the current experience. They could still review it. But these recommendations are just recommended actions that we feel you should take based on the statistics, but they can still review it without having to take this action.
Thanks, Karen.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Is it applicable only to customers or will it be available for titles as well? I'm not sure I understand that.
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean the entity type?
It's
I
the match process completely.
Sorry, say it again.
So there are two instances, I think, customers and Titans, which is like the product.
Uh-huh.
You're showing the customer information, which is like first name, last name,
Oh, yeah.
etc. We were wondering if it applies to the Titan instance as well.
Yeah. So we want this. So this will be available for really any entity type, right?
Okay.
So giving you more of that, yeah, statistics per entity type.
Great. What are the options to display the number of potential matches on a profile?
What are the options of displaying the number of potential matches in a profile?
On a profile, yeah.
So, for example, if I go to this profile, you have this facet that shows you the number of potential matches. And also here, it'll show you, right now, this one doesn't have any potential matches, but it will then show you also the list of the potential matches for the specific profile. Is that what you guys mean? or-
Carina, that was a question from me. And
Okay.
on the profile, the potential matches tile does not show the number of potential matches. It actually shows the potential matches. So in the case that you have 300, 200 potential matches, you wouldn't know the exact number.
Got it. Yeah. So having it show here or maybe an indicator here would be great. So then I know
Yes.
how many potential matches are here. Yep.
Yep.
Thank
So
you.
you're getting all your ideas here. That's,
I know.
that's really
This,
good.
this is why I love doing these, I have
Yeah,
a full list of feature lists that I can go ahead and take
exactly.
those.
So Mark says, and Jag, I'll get to you in a minute. For merge all should have the ability to review and sub-select for action. Same for not a match.
Chris, we went over this already.
Oh, my bad.
I
All
threw
right.
them in when there was no response. So thank you, though.
Check.
But if you
Check
do
out.
get to my crosswalk question, I'd love it.
Is there a reason advanced search doesn't permit file crosswalk IDs? Seems very basic, but not capability. It's not a capability. Okay. I don't know if, good.
So what was the question on crosswalks?
Is there a reason why advanced search doesn't permit a file of crosswalk IDs? Seem very basic, but not a capability.
So you could do an advanced search and you could base it on the crosswalk ID values, right? If you choose that attribute, but you can't choose that attribute and then provide a file.
Yeah, like in file.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's killing us. And it seems so basic. I'm not sure why there's a reason it's not in there.
Yeah, that would be something that I would need to go back to the engineering team. But Mark, let's definitely sync later. I want to understand more about that and how we can support that.
Okay. That would be great. Thank you. And yeah, we do have an enhancement request in for it also, but since you're here, I
Perfect.
figured I'd get it to you. Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. I know, Jag, did you have a question that you wanted to ask?
Yeah, I do have a question on the match insight which you displayed, Karina. Yeah, there, I think it's showing the match strategy. Let's say I have data coming in from multiple different sources. So here, let's say I have from one source and I have about, let's say about 25 different matches. And all I have to do is just switch the match strategy. I pick and choose, and then I go heads down and say, this is all match and done, and then switch back to default match strategy. Is that possible?
To be able to filter on the match strategy. Is that what you're saying?
They're not filter, but actually apply a different match rule itself. So you see what I'm saying? So I can prioritize depending upon a source, and I'll say, hey, like 3 rules. And for source 1, I always use the 3rd rule. So I switch the source, I switch this match rule, and I see, oh, these is all good. Match it, merge it, done, and then switch back to the default match strategy.
Yeah, that's something that we haven't thought yet, Jack, but I want to understand that more too. To be able to select the source and then apply a match strategy on those sources that I selected.
Correct.
Yeah.
This-
I mean, yeah. So we do have a filter, but that's something that we still need to think through. One way that I can think of is I can actually select the sources for this, because this is the entire universe. We're not,
Yeah.
filter on the source. So that's one thing that we know is a gap, right? The ability to filter on a specific source. I only want to focus on a source. I then should be able to select the match strategy to apply to that source, view
Yep.
the information here, and then merge. Yep. Okay, got it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Jack, I think we answered this question in the chat, or is that a different one?
No, this is the one. That's it.
Okay, good. Is there a workflow component to this authoring?
Oh, yes. So let me go back to authoring.
Good question, Clint.
So there is. So you see this suggest, there is a workflow component to this. So in saving, we'll go ahead and create this profile in your tenant, and then suggest, we'll go ahead and trigger a workflow.
Is it one of the existing workflows? Is it the create workflow?
It's going
Or is
to
it
be,
something totally different?
yeah, it's going to be a new workflow, going to be called profile authoring workflow. So it's going to, it's its own unique specific workflow for profile authoring.
Is it based on the same lightweight workflow functionality that we have? So any desire to have multiple approvers between each step or configuring multiple steps, does that all end up being a combination of customizing that workflow and potentially writing custom Java code to do any logic?
That I don't know, and I need to get that answer from Sergio, who's the PM for this, Clint. But we can sync separately to understand more about the workflow process for this.
Okay. I'm meeting with Aberdeep about this. Is he involved in that too?
Abra, yeah. Abra's involved. I would also include Sergio.
Okay.
in that
I have a meeting with him on Monday, so I'll go with that. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. And usual, I'll ask a question. Are we able to check all the potential matches for some entities in a file?
Oh, she already answered that.
No. Perfect.
Yep.
It's like I'm just going down the list here. Let's say we give a list of crosswalk IDs. Can we display the results? Like,
Yeah, I think, was that same question of the in-file search on crosswalk IDs?
might have been, yes.
Yeah, and that's,
So what is profile authoring? I asked Ria and she did not understand.
so profile authoring is just the concept of chunking the attributes into multi-step or multi-wizard form. And so as you can see, there are 3 different steps that I can take here as a data steward. I can focus on just the profile details. I can move on to the next step, focus on the contact information, and then the preferences and consent. Versus what we currently have, or what we also have with the location, it's just this long list of attributes, right? And it's the attributes really aren't in any sort of logical order. The attributes appear based on how they're configured in your data modeler. But if I want to focus only on maybe permissions or contact information like email, phone number, and address, right? They're not really chunked in such a way. So it's very daunting to have this long list of attributes. So we've come up with more of that wizard-like approach in profile authoring, and that's what we're calling it, is profile authoring. It's just a different visual way to fill out the form.
Awesome. Ria, for external match is exciting. Can we have a demo? And I said, yes, we're working on it. And probably in early May or mid-May. That's when I'm looking at doing more of that. Mark, I don't know if this is another question with Match Insights ability to base display on including in a specific combination subset of suspect match rules, i.e. rules are close, but need some manual review.
I think that was answered by the idea that
Yeah.
you can search on top of this. So as long as you search that.
Yeah. I really love the bulk match resolution options being presented and hope these become available sooner rather than later.
Definitely. It will. It will. We're
All
really
right.
focusing on this. And I think this webinar really also showcases that. We're a lot of questions were around more of the merge and match. I thought more around like the search capabilities of RIA, but this is getting a lot of attention. So this is great news, right?
Yeah.
Something we can take with us and move forward with.
Yeah. No, this is being recorded and we can give it to everybody at Reltio that cares about this. And Trito says, I can play with it. When will the profile authoring be available in the UI? I think that's continued.
It's currently out. So the profile authoring is actually, let me actually confirm when I think it's an EA, but I'm going to confirm that. I don't want to.
Okay. So I think Match Insight is very useful in a PMR case, but will this be helpful if data set is like a huge count, 1 million, like a huge count with data stewards possible to review all data manually? So we are having option of AI and ML features for match and merge. Why one more screen? Why? I don't know. Nitin, maybe you can talk more about this question. You there? I don't know if you understood the question. I didn't completely understand it, but
Yeah, I didn't.
okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one. Lori, are the relevant scores on the match insights taken from our own settings or proposed by the model?
Own settings, your own settings.
Here's
Yes.
some.
This one, for example, will propose the relevant score for the model, but you can go ahead and override it. So in the, I can show you data modeler. I think these are. So if I click on this match using relevance-based score, right? So it will be based on your own settings. The ML models will also have these, which will come pre-configured based on the model. I can then go ahead and override it if I want to, but that's something that we give you the flexibility on.
It's a good question. We have and not and or not in the search criteria. Why don't we have not as a separate where condition?
Let me
Does that
add.
make sense?
Yeah. So if we were to add just a not, we would still need to know how they are connected. So is it, I want to search for entity ID equals it's ABC and not this, which will then make sure that these two both are achieved to yield the results. But if I use or not, it's either this or this. But if we just have not, we won't have a way to know whether or not we need to include both rules or just one or the other. And that's the reason why we have and not or not.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Another question. So, Piyush?
Yeah. So Karina, on this slide, for example, you said entity ID equals. So let's say entity ID equals something, and if we have not condition here, and we want to say that okay, all those entity ID that does not belong to a specific country.
Okay, so entity ID. So in that case, it would be entity ID.
Yeah. So for example, not entity ID.
Ah.
Let's say that we have the name here, first particular full name,
Mhm.
and we want to have the profiles of all those first names where the country code is not US.
So then what you just use this, so entity ID not. Is that what you mean?
Yes, so that's one way where you can say, okay, not after entity ID, we have the option here is not also. But if we, for example, the another scenario wherein we say, okay, entity ID equals this, country code equals this,
Mm-hmm.
and then if we want to have a not condition, not.
Okay, and then
And
what's the not? So country code.
then again, Yeah,
But
and then not country code equals, in above scenario, we had country code equals US, but I want to exclude those where the country code is, for example, France.
okay. So then for this one, and we can either sync also offline or separately here, just so I understand the use case. But so here I could say US, and then I can do another country code.
You say equals France. I don't want France. I want in between these two. I say here not and not. Country code, both of the country code equals, one is US and one is France.
Okay. Yeah, let's sync separately, Piyush. I'd like to understand it more. See how we can
The equal should
support
work
that.
on its own in this case, right? It should just be equal to US. And
Yeah,
then it's not going to pick France.
you're right. He's right. So if I just select US, it's not gonna select France. But are you talking about if there's multiple values of the address, it would still
We can
select?
have, yeah, we can have, for example, we can have addresses from multiple countries.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So this is about the multi-value addresses. Like I can have an address in the US and have an address in France. I only want to see only those profiles that have an address in US and not France.
Because if we say equals US, then it will have, for example, a profile will
Yeah.
it will have US and France, it will show both.
Yes, you're right. Okay. Yeah, let's definitely sync later on
I
this.
can make the connection if needed. So just last question. In advanced search, number of records shown with criteria updated by doesn't show the exact number of records updated by user. While if search via activity log, the number shows are correct. And then somebody else, we get the same issue.
So the created by, let's say equals. These numbers, like Gaurav created most of these profiles. This number is not consistent with the number in activity log. Is that correct? Is that right? Okay. I will.
Yeah, and that was the question. Like the activity log which we see on the profile stats, if you filter it via the user, the numbers that show here doesn't match if we do the search via the advanced search.
Got it. Okay. By Gaurav. Okay, I need to look at it. Okay, let me investigate that then.
All right. Wow. You did 25 minutes of a presentation and demo, and we had 35 minutes of Q&A. So thank you for sticking around, answering all the questions, and thanks everyone for asking your questions. Really do appreciate that. Before you leave, and I know a lot of people have left, but please give us your feedback. And I know that Carina got a lot of really great insights here. So thank you for that.
Yes. Thank you guys so much.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Looking forward to working with you guys more and see y'all next week. Take care.
Bye.